I'm Larry Groby with the Generic Radio Workshop. You got a few minutes? Good. Right after World War II, detective shows really exploded onto the radio airwaves. Every night on the networks, somebody was murdering or double-crossing somebody else, and our weekly hero was called on to crack open the case. There were thin ones, fat ones, saintly ones, devilish ones, some who were cops, some who worked well outside the law. Actor Jack Webb was a fellow who played both insiders and outsiders, famously as Sergeant Friday on Dragnet starting in 1949, but just before that as Pat Novak for hire. Now, Novak was a down-on-his-luck, jack-of-all-trades, down on the San Francisco waterfront, someone who inevitably each week got tangled up with beautiful women and murder in shows that can best be described as radio noir. The Novak style sounded like a Raymond Chandler novel, but in fact was written by Webb's roommate, a future Oscar-winning screenwriter named Richard Breen. Now, our episode of Pat Novak is a new one, penned for us by retired Hollywood writer who has got some pretty solid credentials of his own, Casey Keller. Welcome to Project Audion, Casey.
This is great fun.
Now, starting in the 1970s, you scripted a bunch of television shows. Love Boat, Beacon's World, Who's the Boss, cartoons, Lucille Ball's final series.
Not the happiest time of my life, but yes.
Well, perhaps not, but still.
Beacon's World was the happiest of my life. That was the best, the one show that I still love to watch because it was genuinely educational and it was genuinely hilarious and we had some great comic actors on it. In fact, I was just looking at some stills from it. Anyway, but Who's was a good show, 227. But the Love Boat bought me my first house.
But none of these are hard-boiled, over-the-top detective shows. So was that part of the challenge you set yourself to branch out?
I just love this writer's voice. And I wanted to impersonate it. And, I love those old movies, the old film noir movies. The writing was so sharp and funny. And Jack Webb was so wonderful with the writing. The guy named Bob Breen, who went on to win an Oscar for writing the 1952 Titanic movie. Plus Raymond Burr and Tudor Owen, who, if you look him up on Google, you'll say, oh, I know that guy. He was in 1,000 movies you've seen. And I could never tell if it's tongue-in-cheek or they're just trying to be film noir to the max or whatever it is. But I just think it's a dynamite combination. I have all of them on my computer.
By 1949, Webb and Breen had worked together for a while and were well suited to each other. So Jack Webb went on to Dragnet and Breen went to the movies.
He did. He worked with Webb a couple more times. But again, Oscar winner, and I think 3-time Oscar nominee. So he was a damn fine writer. I'd be very proud to have his works, to have my name on his works.
I know that writing and writing for TV is in your family history. Your father was a television writer, and I wonder if radio was in your history as well. As you were growing up, radio was on its way down.
Well, I'd be in the car next to my dad. We lived in Flushing, New York, and later in New Rochelle. And we would be listening to the radio. And I did hear a little Stan Freberg. I heard the one with the Hollywood Palladium going out to sea. And trying to think what else. But a lot of Gunsmoke, because my dad loved that show. He would come home from work and put it on and take a nap every night. So yeah, I have heard radio. And when I was little, I had one of those little crystal radios from Japan. It looked like a rocket ship, and you pulled the tip out to tune it. And well, first of all, I was like 7 or 8, and it felt like really grown up to have my own radio. And since you had to listen to an earpiece, your parents couldn't know you still were listening after bedtime. So I listened to a lot of lot of stuff on that too.
So, Casey, how did you approach creating a new episode of Back for Hire?
It all started, I wanted to write that first scene. I would have been happy to stop there, because that was really the point of the show to me. The sexy woman coming into his office and the cool dialogue and everything. But eventually I had to figure out a story. I had it like 3/4 written and still hadn't figured out the story because I'm not a mystery writer. Sitcom stories are 2 acts. One act you make a mess, act two you clean it up, and or they were when I was writing sitcoms, which is back when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Hang on, you're not a fossil yet. I'm hoping you're going to write some more for us. Have you got something in mind for a future show?
Well, again, unusual voices. So I'm thinking of Damon Runyon Theater. I've actually been working on a story. I'm going to start with the story this time because those are really stories.
Yeah, he's the guy who did. He's the guy who did Guys and Dolls.
Exactly, and there was definitely a voice there, or a Runyon-esque style of speaking. Nobody used the past tense, and nobody used contractions. I do not see why you are saying that.
I do not understand how they really talk that way, but they do.
But you know what? It's fun.
It is fun. And this will undoubtedly be a completely different matchup of lowlifes and comedy. So we'll look forward to seeing what you come up with. Thanks, Casey. In the meantime, our transcontinental Project Audion cast has nothing but praise for your current script. They're all waiting at the mics, so let's now let the audience hear our production of Pat Novak for Hire.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American Broadcasting Company brings to its entire network one of radio's most unusual programs. Pat Novak for Hire.
Sure, I'm Pat Novak for Hire. That's what the sign out in front of my office says. Pat Novak for Hire. Down on the waterfront in San Francisco, you live life on the installment plan. Miss a payment, they install you 6 feet under. So, I rent boats, do a few favors, if they pay enough. Anything to keep me and the boats afloat. Yeah, it's dangerous, but no one gets off the planet alive. If you want to stick around longer, the trick is keeping your toes out of the meat grinder. I found that out Thursday night. I was sitting in my office, wondering how long a guy could live on canned ravioli, when a waft of perfume cut through the Chef Boyardee. It was the kind of scent that could turn a sapling into a sequoia. Then she followed it in. A dish so hot, you needed oven mitts to just look at her. She was decked out in a slinky chemise that clung to her like a boozer to a bottle. She had dark hair, olive skin, and the kind of stare that went through your eyes and out the back of your head.
You Novak?
That's what it says on the sign.
Maybe you were born under a bad sign.
No maybes about it. Still, that's how they tagged me. You got a name?
Ulysses S. Grant.
She held up a fresh new 50. Maybe me and the chef could take a few days off.
I hear you do odd jobs.
Depends how odd.
How about dropping off a car in North Beach?
What's the catch?
No catch.
Come on, sister. A half C note to drive a car a couple of miles? There's gotta be a catch.
No, just a straightforward business proposition.
Your name wouldn't happen to be Santa Claus, would it?
No, it's Hannah. Hannah Gordon.
So, Hannah Gordon, why don't you drive the car there yourself?
Maybe I'm not in the mood. Maybe the ashtrays are full. Look, if you don't want the 50, I can find somebody else who'd be...
No, put it on the desk. I'll do it.
Okay. Here you go. Drop it off at 601 Vallejo, corner of Grant, and leave the keys on the visor.
As she turned to saunter out, there were 100 things I needed to ask her. But with that view, I couldn't remember a single one.
Citizens Committee to
20 minutes
cable
later,
cars
I was
got
cruising
approved.
Vallejo towards Grant.
They managed to
The
place
car
a
was an
Save
old beater,
Cable Cars
but it had the one
event on
thing
November
money
ballot,
can't buy,
despite
at least since
Mayor
the war:
Lapham's opposition.
new tires.
Once again, our top headline: police are still looking for the gang that robbed Bay Meadows Racetrack this afternoon. They killed a guard and got away with $70,000. That's the news. I'm Bill Larkin. And now, the Bay Area weather.
And
We have
then,
another chilly day in
just
store.
my luck,
Cloudy skies and highs
a
in the
flat.
mid-30s.
So
Next
much
early
for the
morning,
new
tomorrow,
tires,
clear up around
and a
noon,
man took the
with
car to the
scattered
curb.
darkness just before dusk.
I walked around and opened the trunk. There was the Jack and the spare, and a spare Jack I hadn't counted on. Jack Silver. He was a hack burlesque comic I got out of a jam a few years back. He'd clown around in baggy pants and his trademark pork pie hat. If he hadn't had it on, I wouldn't have recognized him, since there were holes shot through his head you could use to go bowling. He and that stupid hat died on stage 100 times, but this was his final bow. So, decision time. Do the right thing or the smart thing. The law said I should call the cops, but that could mean trouble. There was the body, the car wasn't mine, and the new tires were probably black market. Don't ask me why. I dropped a nickel in the slot. That must have been the Boy Scout in me. Yeah, get me homicide.
Homicide. Detective Hellerman talking.
Hellman, it's Pat Novak. There's been a murder.
Who'd you kill this time, Novak?
Hellman, you're almost as funny as the Hindenburg. If you can wedge your keister out of that chair, the body's in the trunk of a '38 Chevy Coupe on Vallejo near Grant.
I'll be there in 5 minutes. And Novak, make sure you're there too.
Yeah, that'll happen. I knew if I stuck around, Hellman tried to pin the murder on me. If I wanted to stay out of prison, I had to work fast and find the killer and that Hannah girl. Maybe they were where Jack Silver worked, or used to work, the Kearney Burlesque. For a 5 spot, the stage manager let me in the stage door. I found the dressing room and knocked. You decent?
Nah, come on in.
I stepped through the door and saw more tassels than at my high school graduation.
What you looking for?
A little information.
Well, you ain't gonna find it there, mister. Our eyes. They're up here.
Any of you know a girl named Hannah Gordon?
Wasn't she the one with the doves?
No, you're thinking of Brandy Alexander. Gordon was the one with the glow-in-the-dark pasties.
That was Crystal Ball.
You're right. Hannah Gordon danced with the big beach ball. Yeah, she worked here a while back. Haven't seen her since.
How about a guy called Jack Silver?
Where is that Jake?
Louse missed the first 2 shows.
He'll probably miss the third. Somebody put 3 bullets in his head.
Is he dead?
They didn't do it to pierce his ears.
Well, I guess that's too bad.
Any idea who'd won?
Almost any girl who works here.
He had busy hands, know what I mean? Always squeezing the merchandise.
Even when I didn't want him to.
Anybody tell Danny?
Danny.
Jack's brother.
Know where I can find him?
Just look for a bookie. He'll be standing right there next to him.
Likes the ponies, huh?
The ponies, the fights, the greyhounds.
The guy had bet on the direction you twirl your tassels.
Police! You got a minute to cover yourselves, then I'm coming in.
Hellman. If he got his mitts on me, I'd be on my way to San Quentin faster than a seagull to a garbage dump. I tried waving my head no, but...
Come on in.
I saw the door to the fire escape and ran for it. Flew down the ladder and hit the alley just in time for a pair of gents to give me a friendly greeting.
Light flame. You hold it.
Nice. Your mother taught you boys to take turns. I get it, guys. You don't like me. What's this about?
It's about that stiff in the trunk, Novak. It don't concern you.
So don't go sticking that beak of yours where it don't belong.
If we have to tell you again, we might not be so nice about it.
Wait. No, stop. Guys, no. Stop.
They threw me in a garbage can and took off. I wanted to climb out, but I had to wait for the feeling to come back in my colon. Then I heard it. The sound of flat feet and cheap shoes.
Always thought I'd find you in a garbage can, Novak.
Hellman, you're not smart enough to find your own feet with a pack of bloodhounds.
I'm smart enough to see your future. And it's a short trial with a long walk to the gas chamber.
Come on, you got nothing on me. It wasn't my car, I don't have a gun, and nobody'd be stupid enough to call in a murder they just committed. Well, you, maybe.
Novak, you won't be cracking wise when they strap you into that gas chamber.
I was up to my hubcaps in trouble, and each spin of the wheels was putting me in deeper. So I looked up the only honest guy I know, an ex-doctor and world-class boozer named Jocko Madigan. Good guy, until he fell into a bottle of rye and never bothered climbing out. He was at Tingwa, a little dive on the edge of Chinatown, where the drinks are cheap and the slow gin runs fast.
Chinatown, my Chinatown, where the lights are low.
Jocko.
Hearts that know no other land, drifting to and fro.
Jocko!
Oh, Patsy. Gone high, fat joy. It's Chinese New Year.
No, it's not.
Well, it must be Chinese New Year somewhere. Here, let me get you a Singapore sling.
Not now, Jocko. I'm in a jam.
Or maybe a lychee martini. How about a Shanghai surprise? It's on me. I'll pick up the Shanghai Jack.
Well, stop with the jokes, would you? I need help. Some doll hired me to drive her car to North Beach. There was a body in the trunk, and Hellman wants me for the murder.
It must feel good to be wanted.
Will you listen? A guy called Jack Silver taking a dirt nap, and they're trying to tuck me in next to him. Find out who killed him, and you gotta help me.
Patsy, have you ever considered another line of work? I mean, you may not be cut out to be a perennial murder suspect. I mean, they say if you find something you love, you never work a day in your life.
Spare me.
Take me, for example. I used to be a doctor. Now, I'm a drunk. I grant you the pay's not as good, but you meet a lot of interesting people and fall off a lot of interesting bar stools. Hey, give me back my drink. Okay, what do you need?
Find out what you can about a guy named Danny Silver. Got a bad gambling Jones.
Sure you wouldn't rather have a Mandarin Mai Tai?
Jocko.
Okay, lover. On my way.
It was nearly 11 when I got back to my apartment. I thought I'd heal my gut with an ice pack and a little first aid. Scotch first aid. I was hoping I'd hear from Jocko before I heard from Hellman. Instead, she came in. Hannah Gordon. The dark eyes, the dark hair, the perfume. 105 pounds of desire and trouble.
Mr. Novak.
It's you. Got any more stiffs need chauffeuring around?
I didn't know there was a body in the trunk. Honest, I need your help.
Don't think so, sis. Last time I helped you out, I got an invite to the Big Q for a gas chamber party.
I've got money.
If you don't mind, I'd rather keep breathing. It's one of my few good habits.
I've got something better than money.
Forget it. You played me once with that Hedy Lamarr act. You really want my help?
I'm desperate.
Tell me who had you hire me to drive that car.
I would, but you'd never believe me.
Try me.
It was Jack Silver.
Right. Jack Silver. You're saying a dead man had you hire me?
He wasn't dead when he did it. He had to hide. These guys were after him, and now they're after me. They've been through my apartment. I barely got away. Mr. Novak, I'm so scared. I don't know what to do.
Well, crying's always a good start. There's some scotch over there. Help yourself.
Thanks.
Hey, pour me one, too. So, why were these guys after him?
I don't know. It's something to do with a horse his brother bet on Bay Meadows.
Danny, right? That's the brother's name. You think he had something to do with the murder?
Danny? If you put a gun in his hands, he'd need to change his shorts.
Things were getting complicated. I needed time to think.
Novak.
Instead, I got Hellman.
Put on your shoes. You're going downtown.
Why, Detective Hellman. What a lovely surprise.
Come on, let's go.
Don't be a sap. I'm not the one you want. She hired me to drive that car.
All right, both of you. You're coming with me.
He grabbed Hannah by the arm.
Let go of me. I didn't do anything. Novak, tell him.
Sorry, doll.
Stop fighting.
I'm not going to go.
Look, we can do this the hard way, or we can do this the easy way.
But I didn't kill anybody.
Oh, she was a feisty kitten. I'll give her that. She kept kicking
Settle
Hellman in
down.
the shins.
Ow!
Need me to help you cuff her, Hellman?
Stand back, Novak. Let a professional handle this.
While the professional turned around to cuff her, I beat it out the window.
Novak!
Nah, I didn't think she killed Silver. But with those thugs after her, I figured she'd be safer in the lockup. A while later, I snuck back into my flat and flopped into bed. I don't know if I was trying to sleep off the beating or the scotch. Either way, I didn't get very far.
Patsy! Patsy! Wake up!
Jocko? What time is it?
It's time for you to wake up.
Huh?
Yeah, take a slug of coffee.
That's not coffee.
Oh, sure it is. Irish coffee.
Did you find anything?
Danny Silver has a big gambling problem. Bookies all over town are lining up to bust his kneecaps.
Anything I didn't know already?
Did you know he and Jack looked a lot alike?
Twins.
No, but definitely from the same cookie cutter.
Huh. So maybe some bookie thought Jack was his brother Danny.
That's what I'm thinking.
Great. Now all I gotta do is track down every bookie in San Francisco. I don't even know where to start.
You could look in the yellow pages under bookies.
Wait a minute. Come on, let's go.
Back to Dingwall for a little eye-opener?
No, to 750 Kearney Street.
Where?
The morgue. I hate morgues, Jocko. It's so cold in here you can see your breath when you breathe.
Patsy, that's how you know you don't belong in one of the drawers.
What can I do for you?
For starters, you can turn on the heat. It's like a meat locker in here.
You get used to it. Who do you want to see?
What? Maybe too strong a word. I need to see what's left of a guy called Jack Silver.
Oh, yeah. Follow me. Hope you didn't have a big breakfast. This the guy?
Hard to tell with those holes in his head.
Lateral penetrating cranial cerebral gunshot wounds to the frontal lobe.
In English?
Took one, right between the eyes.
You a doctor?
University of California, class of '09.
Yeah, but that was before he embalmed himself. Have you told the family?
Not yet. Gotta call his brother. That's the worst part of this job.
Worse than dealing with stiffs all day?
You get used to it.
Why don't you let me tell him?
Why would you want to do that?
I know the family.
I don't know.
Would you want to hear your brother died from some stranger on the phone?
Guess not.
So give me the address.
Sure you don't mind.
I'll get used to it. I dropped Jocko off at a little bar he knew. Not many bars he didn't know. And I made for the Mission District. The apartment was near Folsom and 23rd.
Yeah?
Package for apartment 3G.
You guys have ordered something? Okay, come on up.
Those were a lot of stairs to drag myself up after the beating, the scotch, and the sleepless night. I finally made it. And there, waiting on the landing, was Silver. Only it wasn't Danny Silver. It was Jack.
Novak, what are you doing here?
Shouldn't I be asking you that, Jack? You're supposed to be in a drawer at the morgue.
Oh, yeah, that's a long story.
I like stories. Let's hear it.
I don't have time.
Make time.
Okay, might as well come in.
I stepped through the door of the apartment, and there were the goons from last night. The ones who used my guts for a speed bag. They gave me their usual hello. Good to see you guys, too.
What's wrong with you, Novak? Don't you speak English?
Maybe he don't hear so good.
I know I don't feel so good.
Novak, didn't anybody ever tell you curiosity kills the kitty cat?
No. Guess I missed school that day.
Too bad, because now you're the cat, and we're going to put an end to that curiosity of yours. Hold him, guys.
Let me go!
So long, Patsy.
He threw a punch like Joe Louis with a horseshoe in his glove. Then, lights out. I came to in the dark. My knees were pressed against my chest. I could hardly move. I didn't know where I was until I heard the motor and smelled gas fumes. I was in a car trunk and looked like I was headed back to the morgue, only this time as a customer. I groped around in the dark for something, anything I could use as a weapon.
This place looks okay. Pull in behind those trees.
Okay, boss.
I finally found something. Just like I was going to bring a tire iron to a gunfight.
Okay, Novak, get out.
You know you got a hole in your muffler?
No.
They lifted me out, but they didn't notice the tire iron. Not until too late. I was swinging that thing like Joe DiMaggio in the World Series. If I wanted to see tomorrow, I had to bat 1,000. Must have been my lucky day. If you can count any day you get beat up twice as lucky. When the dust settled, the score was Novak 1, Silver nothing. The goons were out cold on the ground. Jack was on the ground too, but still conscious. I stood over him, holding the iron like a Louisville slugger. I was about to step up to the plate.
Novak, don't.
Why not? You killed your brother, tried to kill me.
It was nothing personal.
Right. You mean like this is nothing personal?
Look, he was at the track when we knocked off the Brinks truck. He saw us, and he wouldn't shut up about it.
So you shut him up for good. Then you tricked Hannah Gordon into helping you get rid of the body. Good thing she wasn't home when your goons tried to shut her up, too.
Look, Novak, how about we deal? You can have a quarter of the take. Heck, if those guys don't make it, we'll split it 50-50.
Forget it, Silver. I have a hard enough time looking in the mirror without being a criminal.
You're a chump, Novak. A loser.
I was about to swing on him when the cops showed up.
Stop! Hands up, everybody! You! Drop the tire iron!
Thank God you're here, officer. This guy was gonna kill me.
These are the guys who did the Brinks robbery.
Don't listen to him. He's crazy.
Yeah, I'm crazy, but he's a liar.
Well, one of you's a liar. And since I don't know which one, I guess we're all going down to the station house.
Guess again, copper.
Silver pulled out his gun and started blasting. Good thing he was seeing double from the tire iron massage I gave him. He couldn't shoot straight. I tackled him pinned him to the ground.
Novak, you shark. We could have had a deal.
Sorry, Jack. You're gonna have to make your deal with the district attorney. So, me and Jocko had it figured wrong. It wasn't some bookie who killed Jack Silver. It was Jack Silver who killed his brother, Danny. Then he put his trademark hat on the body and stuffed his ID in his pocket. It was dark when I saw the corpse in the trunk. That made it easy to mistake one brother for the other, especially with those holes in his head. So, Danny the gambler's gone. There'll be a lot of bookies crying at that funeral. Poor guy. Only luck he ever had was bad. What were the odds of him being at the track when his brother robbed that Brinks truck? About the same as Quasimodo getting a date with Rita Hayworth. Jack and his buddies are in San Francisco General getting fixed up all nice and healthy so they can strap them in the gas chamber. And Hannah Gordon? Hellman had to let her go. Turns out, there's no law against picking a loser for a boyfriend.
The American Broadcasting Company has just brought you Pat Novak for Hire, starring Jack Webb. Jocko Madigan is played by Tudor Owen. Inspector Hellman is played by Raymond Burr. Be with us again next week when most of these same ABC stations will bring you Pat Novak for Hire. This program came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
You've been listening to Project Audion's new version of Pat Novak for Hire. Heard in this show were Pete Fernbach in West Virginia, who played Pat Novak. Tom Kunkel in California was Jocko Madigan. T. Quillen in Tennessee was Inspector Hillman. Joanne Kerman in California played Hannah Gordon. Julie Huberson in Washington State was one stripper, and Donna Patton in Tennessee was the other. Kim Titus from Texas played Jack Silver. Lothar Tuppen in California was the announcer and one of the goons. Bob Mills in Los Angeles played the other goon. Casey Keller, also in L.A., was the coroner and also the writer of this tribute. Meanwhile, in Texas, I'm Larry Groby, who produced, directed, and handled the sounds. We hope you enjoy our radio recreation podcasts. Do subscribe so that you never miss a monthly episode. And visit the Project Audion website, where you can sign up for news about upcoming shows and let us know how we're doing. On behalf of our entire talented Project Audion gang, thanks for listening.
You really want my help?
I'm desperate.
Tell me who had you drive me to that Tell me who had you drive me to... Tell me who had you drive me... Sorry.
Tell her who... No, wait.
It's Abbott and Costello in one line.